Kailan nag-start ng pasukan? uh, Sir Edgar. Hindi ko pa sure po ng video po.
Ma'am, may I know where we are live on Facebook?
On Facebook po and in YouTube po.
Anong specific Facebook page?
YFP Facebook page po. Youth and Students for Peace Philippines. I will share the link po here in our group chat po.
Two, 1, 2, 3.
Of today.
Peace-loving.
No value.
Bridging gaps towards sustainable peace.
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 Kapag international license,
All right.
All right, I think we're all set. So let's begin. Good afternoon and a pleasant day, ladies and gentlemen, and to all our workers, frontliners, and hardworking leaders and empowered youth. Today of the August 31st, 2020, we are celebrating the National Heroes Day. Welcome to our Leaders Connect webinar series along with the celebration of our National Heroes Day with the theme Frontliners Makabagong Bayani, which seeks to highlight the dedication and overall sacrifices of our brave frontliners in the battle against all crises in this nation and around the world, especially the worldwide pandemic known as COVID-19, as well as to draw lessons on how to know the significance of having such a character of sacrifice to live for the sake of our families, society, nation, and the world. I am Hanjin Katyes Himay. It is my honor to be a moderator for today's webinar series. So as we commence this webinar, I would like to greet our youngsters, frontliners, and leaders of this nation who are joining with us via YouTube Live in our YouTube channel, YSP Pilipinas. Thank you very much for your utmost support and participation on today's webinar. And for those who weren't still able to tune in, we have shared today's live streaming link on our Facebook page, YSP Pilipinas, and Instagram account at YSP Pilipinas. Once again, I humbly welcome each and every one of you on today's Leaders Connect webinar series. Just relax, learn, and enjoy our program for today. Stay tuned. So now, without any further ado, as well as I am hyped to introduce the person who will give the opening remarks for today's event, it is a privilege. Let's all give a warm welcome the Vice President of Youth and Student for Peace Filipinas, Mr. Froilan Matbagan. Let's all give a round of a virtual applause.
Thank you so much to our moderator, our energetic Mr. Hanjin Kachikimai from the HJYLP International. Good afternoon, young leaders. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? Our IAYSP Asia Pacific President, Professor Richel Halipa, sir. To our NYC Commissioner, Honorable Ronald Cardema, sir. Our President of Youth and Student for Peace, Filipinas, Mr. Rene Lansangan. To our distinguished main speaker and the UPF Director for South Asia, Dr. Edgar Tanate, sir. To all our panelists, Dr. Giovanni Ahunin, our NSTP Director for NCR. To our Professor Melfi Diola, our UDM ROTC Coordinator. Mr. Leonard Chan, a molecular biologist. To all our participants, both international and local, my sincere greetings and welcome to all of you. I deeply appreciate your response to our invitation to this Leader Connect webinar series with the theme Frontliners, Makabagong Bayani, in commemoration for the yearly celebration of our National Heroes Day. To give you a brief insight about International Association of Youth and Student for Peace, also known as IAYSP or YSP, is an NGO comprised of a global family of young people who are building a peaceful society through youth empowerment. Founded on February 23, 2017 in Cheongpyeong, South Korea by the founder, Dr. Hak Jahan-moon, who is well known as a mother of peace. On October 26, 2017, we have officially registered YSP in the Philippine government and became the National Steering Committee to consolidate all student and youth-oriented activities during the 5th International Youth Assembly 2017 and officially inaugurated the YSP Pilipinas. Last November 11, 2019, the Youth and Student for Peace Pilipinas was already registered at the National Youth Commission of the Republic of the Philippines at the Youth Serving Organization. YSP has invested in education, development, and nurturing future leaders, in the process contributing to the achievement of the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals, known as SDGs. The organization project includes character education, service projects, peace designers training, marriage preparation, and family values, as well as creating opportunities through sports, arts, and culture. Thus, YSP has transformed the reality of various communities around the world, making them realize that their small action makes a difference as a result of a major transformation. YSP was built on decades of investment and sacrifice by the founder, Dr. Hak Jahan Moon, and her husband, Reverend Samyang Moon, had accomplished over the lifetime together. They created a supported numerous initiatives for young people that foster community service, interreligious dialogue, decency in arts, collegiate research, humanitarian outreach, environmental concern, political activism, a responsible media, academic excellence, and more. As Dr. Hak Jahan Moon said, and I quote, practicing true love, living for the sake of others, the love that gives and continues to give. It is your responsibility to create this heart, this foundation. As you're all aware, the most serious social problems are related to a confusion of moral values and the breakdown of the family. Our young people today face wide range of vulnerabilities that include substance abuse, sexual immorality, and a crisis of identity, which negatively or impact our society, even the environment. This problem seems to accelerate along the economic development and high-speed internet communication. That's why YSP offers solution and hope. More than just an idea whose time has come, young people are working together to build a culture of values and integrity based on universal principle rooted in the family. This initiative is expanding into a global awakening. Last December 14, 2019, YSP Pilipinas launched the Leaders Connect. It is a conference-type program, an avenue to youth and student leaders to gather together and discuss relevant and prevalent national and world problems, highlighting the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals as part of the solution. For today's online program aims to highlight the significance of patriotism, love, and loyalty to our country, the true hearts of service for the people, especially in this time of pandemic. It is also aimed to acknowledge and give honor to all our frontliners, heroes, who have put their lives in the line to protect and save the Filipino people. Through this webinar, we want to give hope to the young people and show them the essence of being a good citizen and patriots of our nation. Also, we want to give aspiration that no matter how much we have been suffering, let us think our frontliners who never gave up. Please listen carefully to all the presentation and messages. May all the students, young leaders, and young professionals to strongly support our YSP program and activities because your participation and involvement always matter. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Froilan Makabagong, for that very warm opening remarks. For today is a special day to receive a very special message from our NYC Commissioner. Let's all welcome and give a round of virtual applause to Honorable Ronald Cardema.
Hello, good day to everybody, to our UPF and YSP leaders, and to all our participants. I'm currently attending the Zoom celebration of the country, of the Department of National Defense regarding National Heroes Day right now. So together with me are former President Fidel Ramos and around 50 generals of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. And their question to me, the National Youth Commissioner, is Ronald, what is happening to our youth? What is their participation in in the National Heroes Day? So I also told them that I'm attending the YSP celebration of the National Heroes Day, and I introduced them to the youth and students of Assembly of the Philippines, uh, and I am assuring them, these statesmen and generals, that YSP and your members and the youth of this country is trying its best to uphold the heroism of our ancestors, the heroism of our heroes. And these generals, which I am also talking to right now, when they were young, they were fighting and defending this country. Most of the most of these generals were World War II veterans. They were 20 years old when they fought and defended this country, defended their families. They were frontliners also. And after 80 years, we are here. But we have a different war right now. We are fighting the coronavirus pandemic in our country. And just like the previous war, this war does not recognize gender. This war does not recognize if you're rich or poor. This pandemic will attack you unknowingly. So we are here, and we are very thankful for our government and for YSP for commemorating National Heroes Day for our frontliners today. Because you are at the forefront of defending and upholding humanity in this country. And you are recognizing the heroism of modern day heroes. And it is very proper for the youth sector, for YSP to lead this commemoration, because as our national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, said, the youth is the hope of this motherland. And literally, physically, the youth is stronger in stamina and in fighting this virus. We are the hope of our motherland. We are the hope of our communities. We are the hope of our family. We are the hope of our parents and of our grandparents today. So we are very thankful to YSP, and we will support YSP. I would like to thank YSP because YSP nominated me to the National Youth Commission. That's why I'm an NYC commissioner again right now. And I will dedicate my 3 years in NYC to help YSP create more chapters in the Philippines and to inspire more of our youth leaders, more of the millions of Filipino youth towards nation building, towards peace and development in this country. So again, from the National Youth Commission, I would like to greet all of you, and I would like to commend YSP, UPF for a job well done in leading the youth, inspiring the youth towards nation building. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much, our Honorable Ronald Cardema, for your very special message, especially for our frontliners who is fighting in the front line, fighting in the new war. Okay, next up, the presenter for this wondrous event. He has a degree of Bachelor of Science in Physics for Teachers and graduated cum laude at the Philippine Normal University. He is commissioned as second lieutenant in the Philippine Army in 1988. He served as tactical officer and assistant commander in several reserve officer training corps units in Manila and Iloilo City. He is the national leader of Family Federation for World Peace and Unification in Sri Lanka, Vice President for Education in World Tongil Model Federation, Asia Pacific, and the Director of Universal Peace Federation Education Department, South Asia. Let's give a warm welcome and a round of virtual applause to our main speaker for today's online program, Dr. Edgar T. Tanate.
Thank you very much to our very energetic moderator, Hanjin. Can you hear my voice? Is my voice okay? Okay, so great. So let me share my screen then. So I would like to give my thanks to our YSP president, uh, our wonderful President Rene, for inviting me to this Leaders Connect webinar series with the theme Frontliners, Makabagong Bayani. Yeah. So ito yung ating theme, no, for today. So would like to really present this topic to the young people of this nation. Sabi nga ni Dr. Jose Rizal, ang kabataan ang pag-asa ng bayan. Oh, yeah, the youth is the fair hope of our fatherland. So once again, I would like to really commend our frontliners for really sacrificing for the sake of our country in this pandemic. Sabi nga kanina ni ating National Youth Commissioner, ito ay isang klaseng gera, no, na dapat nating mapanalunan at pwede lang nating magawa yon kapag nagkaisa tayo, lalo na ang mga kabataan sa ngayon. No? So YSP is really doing something amidst this pandemic. So the topic I'd like to share with you today is entitled Patriotism and World Peace. Okay. Patriotism and World Peace. So generally, all created beings are created in pairs. If you try to check all created beings from atoms, plants, animals, and human being, we can see that there are two aspects, or we have the dual aspects of every level of creation. We call this the internal character and the external form. So for atom, we have the chemical properties and the physical properties, the internal character, which is invisible, and the external form, which is visible. For plants, we have the plant mind, and then the external form, which is branches, leaves. And then for animals, we have the instinct and the body. For human beings, we have the mind and the body. So this is like the internal, which is invisible, and the external, which is visible. And these two aspects in every creation is meant to unite together and to harmonize as one. The other aspect of this duality we call masculinity and femininity. In atoms, we have the positive proton and the electron, which is negatively charged. So proton and electron for atoms. And then for plants, we have the stamen and the pistil. For animals, we have male and female. For human beings, we have man and woman. So we can see here that these two aspects of masculinity and femininity, or positivity and negativity, is actually meant to unite together and to harmonize together. So what we are saying here, based on this, on the aspects of creation, is that let's say the internal character, which is invisible, the masculinity and positive, let's call it one name, we call it subject. And then the external form, the femininity, negativity, we call it one name, we call object. What is the relationship between subject and object? So we can see that subject and object are meant to unite together, give and take action, cooperate together. centering on the universal prime and energy coming from God. And when this happens, there will be existence, reproduction, action, and development. So the subject is the one that initiates, directs, and leads, while the object is the one that supports, follows, and obeys. So, based on this philosophy and principle, give and take action is what makes existence, reproduction, action, and development possible, no, on this earth. So, for example, atoms come into existence when electrons assemble about a nucleus and engage in electromagnetic interaction, which is a type of give and take action. Molecules form and produce chemical reactions when positive ions and negative ions perform give and take action. Likewise, the human body maintains its life through the give and take action between the arteries and veins, inhalation and exhalation, and so on and so forth. The give and take action between mind and body enables an individual to carry out activities which further the purpose of life. Furthermore, the give and take actions between husband and wife in the family, among people in the society, between the government and the citizens in a nation, and among the nations of the world are essential for them to live together in harmony and peace. So we can see that in the case of human beings, we can therefore say that human being has two aspects. We have the invisible nature, which is the mind, and the visible aspect or the external form, which is the body. So the mind actually seeks for spiritual values, meaning the mind seeks for truth, beauty, goodness, and love. And it pursues the whole purpose. So in our, for human beings, we definitely search for the truth, right? You want to know the truth. You want to look at something that is beautiful. You want to be a good person. You want to love and receive love. So this whole purpose, this desire for spiritual values, centering on the mind or the conscience, should be considered as number one or the priority in our lives. While on the other hand, the bodily desire, which is actually desiring for material values, and the individual purpose, eating, sleeping, drinking, having sex, like that, should be considered secondary or number two. That means that these two aspects of human being should harmonize with the desires of the mind or the spiritual values as the priority, number one, and in the supportive role, secondary is the desire of the body, the material values. No? So once human being live this way, prioritizing the desires of the mind, and the secondary is the desires of the body, such a person naturally lives for the sake of others, and he becomes a true human being. So look at this. In the laws of nature, we can see that it's actually following the laws of cooperation. For example, between the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. For us, we belong to the animal kingdom, right? So when we inhale, we take in oxygen. So inhale, and then we exhale and take out carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is taken by the plant kingdom, and then together with sunshine in a process we call photosynthesis, the plant kingdom will release oxygen to the atmosphere for the animals, for the animal kingdom. So you can see that plant and animal kingdom, even though animals actually eat plants, but their essential and most important primary aspect or relationship is that of cooperation. They give and take together. Inhale, exhale. That is their relationship. If the plant kingdom decides, only 3 minutes, not give oxygen to the animal kingdom, is it a problem or a big problem? Definitely, it will be a very big problem. So we are so grateful that the plant kingdom and animal kingdom are following these laws of cooperation. So how about in society? So if parents and children had a good relationship with each other, if teachers and students have a good relationship with each other, had a good give and take action with each other, employers and employees, consumers and businesses, following the law of cooperation, then our nation will progress, our country will prosper, the classroom will prosper, the family will be happy, businesses will be successful. So this is like what? Following the law of cooperation, give and take action, which is actually the law of nature. So once again, what is a true human being? A true human being is a person who seeks the whole purpose, who seeks spiritual values as the priority or number one in his life. And secondary, of course, without neglecting it, but in the secondary role, seeking for material values like individual purpose of like to exist, existing, that is to eat, to sleep, not drink, having sex. This kind of true human being is a person who naturally lives for the sake of others. So, however, when we try to check today's reality, the reality of human beings is actually the opposite. Many human beings in our time today gives priority and more emphasis and put as number one the desires of the body, meaning putting as priority material values and individual purpose, focusing only on survival, no, eating, sleeping like that, and then only focusing on material aspects of life. But the secondary aspect became secondary. Desiring for spiritual values becomes the secondary. Because of this, man became selfish and materialistic. And once a person is selfish, a person is materialistic, only thinking about himself, no, more than others, what are the consequences of this? In individuals, selfishness destroys character. We tend to put priority in ourselves more than other people. Therefore, we live selfish lives. We don't think about other people's interest, other people's needs. We only think about our needs more than other people. And then in families, selfishness destroys relationships. In societies, it destroys economies. And in nations, it corrupts governments. So also, in globally, selfishness destroys civilizations. So selfishness is really a big problem. But if we prioritize our spiritual values, and then secondary material values and lives naturally for the sake of others, what can happen to us? What are the consequences of living for the sake of others or a person with a good character? In individuals, you will become a person of good character, yeah? And then in families, when you live for others, when you sacrifice for the sake of the members of your family, then there can be good and lasting relationships between husband and wife, between parents and children, between brothers and sisters. Then you can really have good, lasting relationships and you become happy, isn't it? In societies, it can what make well-developed economies. In nations, good governance, and globally, highly advanced civilizations. And with respect to nature, man and nature will live in perfect harmony. There will be no such thing as pollution and many other problems. So we can see here very clearly that the problems of the world today is mainly because of man prioritizing the bodily desire or becoming or living a life of selfishness. So selfishness is not what? Sustainable. It is living for the sake of others that is sustainable. So what is living for the sake of others? So when an individual sacrifices for another person, then he becomes a good person. When that person sacrificed for his family, then he can be considered a filial child in that family. When he sacrificed for the society, he can be considered a good citizen. And when that person sacrificed for the nation, he can be a hero, a patriot. And if sacrifices for the world, he can be considered a saint. And for the cosmos and for God, then he can be considered a child of God. So the individual has to sacrifice for the family for the society for the nation sacrifice for the world, and the world for the cosmos and for God. This is how it should be in the hierarchy of creation. This is what living for the sake of higher purpose, living for the sake of others. When we live this way, then we can definitely change this world. We can definitely change our nation as well. Let me share with you a congressman's story. We said a while ago that if you sacrifice for your family, you become a good member of the family, isn't it? For example, I am the father of 5 children, and I sacrifice for my children. So, am I a good father? Yes, I'm a good father, right? Because I sacrifice for my children. How about if I'm a congressman at the same time? And then because I love my family, I love my what? I love my children. So I get the budget from the government from my pork barrel and then use it for my children because I want each one of them to have a car so that they can go to their school. Well, I had to send them to good university, send them abroad like that, or buy a house for them because I love them. I sacrifice for them. Am I still a good father? maybe some people said, yeah, you're a good father, but you're not a good congressman. Anyway, what we will answer this question, okay, later. No? So you sacrifice your nation for the sake of your family. You sacrifice a higher purpose for the sake of a lower purpose. Is it good or bad? This is something that we need to know. Actually, we call it corruption, isn't it? It is not good. It is definitely not good because when you sacrifice our nation for the sake of your family, then what happens is that the nation will suffer. The nation will not develop. That's why many people are considered to be corrupt. We cannot do like this. The right principle is the family has to sacrifice for the sake of the nation. That is how it should be so that our nation will develop and this world will develop. Let me tell you another story about Albert Einstein's theory of relativity. You know, you see, when you try to look at very carefully and observe, the sun rises in the east, isn't it? When you see the sun in the morning, it rises in the east. And then slowly, noontime, the sun is moving. Huh? It now goes up there, right on top of your head. So noontime, it's on the top of your head. And then later, when it is afternoon, then you can see it's already there on the other side and almost going down again. And then you can see that very clear. No, during the night time, the sun may be down there, and then eventually next day you can see again the sun in the east rising. So our conclusion is very simple. The sun moves around the earth, isn't it? Right? In the east, it's moving. And then finally going towards the west. And then nighttime disappear. And then the next day you can see again, there in the east, rising. Very, very clear, right? Based on my personal point of view, based on my own point of view, very clear. The sun moves around the earth. But is it true? It's not true, isn't it? It is the earth that moves around the sun. That is, no, when you take the bigger viewpoint, when you try to go out from the solar system and look at the solar system, which is the bigger point of view, you can see that it is the earth that moves around the sun. But if you only have your own individual like point of view, your very limited point of view, you can see that it is the sun that moves around the earth. So what is our conclusion then? The higher viewpoint, no, is the one that we have to consider. That's why we have to think big. We should not think only about our nation. We should not think only about the world. We have to think about the biggest, no, of them all. We have to think about both the physical world and the spiritual world and centered on God. And then once we think this way, we make decisions based on the biggest and the highest viewpoint. Most generally, your decisions are correct. So let me share with you Father and Mother Moon's word. The desire to benefit yourself the most is natural, but if it motivates you to take, it is selfish and wrong. You must understand that to benefit yourself the most, you must give. Give your whole self to others. Then this desire to benefit yourself is good. This simple change will bring a new world order. This is our founders' like words, no? Living for the sake of others is the way actually to benefit yourself. Huh? So a true human being gives priority to living for others, truth, beauty, goodness, and love, gives priority to the whole purpose, gives priority to spiritual values, and not neglecting the bodily desire actually, but in the secondary role, supporting the whole purpose, supporting the spiritual values. No, the material values should support spiritual values. So once we live this way, we live naturally for the sake of others, and we become a true human being. So once we live for the sake of higher purpose, with our mind and body centered on God, we become a good person. We live for the sake of others. And then if we sacrifice for our family, we become a filial child. And then when we sacrifice for the society, a good citizen. And when sacrifice for the nation, we become a hero or a patriot. Just like, that's why you can see that our frontliners, no, whoever they are, may they be the nurses, the doctors, the soldiers, the policemen who really work in the front line, no, or the volunteers. You can see that they are standing in the position as the hero or patriot because they sacrifice themselves for the sake of others, for the sake of the nation, for the sake of the people. But when you sacrifice in a higher level, like you sacrifice for the world, then you can be a saint or a child of God. So which one is higher? Which one is higher? Hero or saint or child of God? We can see if a Filipino sacrifices for the world, even though no, he lived his country temporarily, but he sacrificed for the sake of the world, then what happens is that that person, that Filipino will give honor to the Filipinos and even to the country of the Philippines. So our goal should not only be to serve our nation, we have to serve the world and make our country proud of us as a people who lives for the sake of the world. So many Filipinos, no, especially from YSP, as we go to the worldwide level, we have to serve the world so that the benefit and the fortune of the world will go to our country, Philippines, and our country can develop. No, and many people will give their praise, their highest praise and regards, no, to the Filipino people. So YSP is actually helping the UN Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, which is declared by the UN for 2015 to 2030, focusing on number 3 of the SDGs, good health and well-being, number 11, sustainable cities and communities, 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions, and number 17, partnerships, no, for the goals. So these, in this aspect, in this way, we in the YSP are actually helping the world level organization, the United Nations, in order to accomplish these sustainable development goals. And so whatever we're doing, even though only in the Philippines, we connect it with the worldwide level goal. Because our goal is not only to bring peace to the Philippines, but to bring peace all around the world. Worldwide, we have to serve the people of the world, the nations of the world, so that we can become what? People who will be giving honor to our nation. So selfishness is not sustainable. Living for others is sustainable. In a conclusion, I can say, let us give honor to the frontliners who are sacrificing themselves for the sake of the Filipino people under this pandemic. They are our modern day heroes. Let us all live our lives as filial children to our parents, becoming good citizens of the society, heroes for our nation, saints for the world as we live for the sake of the world, and sons and daughters of God by sacrificing ourselves for the sake of others and for the sake of higher purpose. I really give my congratulations to our YSP leadership in the Philippines. I hope and pray that we can really raise up many young people of our nation to really serve our country as heroes and serve the world as a saints who can be recognized not only by the Philippines, but by the entire world. Thank you very much for listening, everyone.
Wow, we learned a lot through that. How to prosper in our society, it is through following the law of cooperation. and the essence and significance of living for the sake of others, for a higher purpose to become a true human being and avoid misfortune because of selfishness. Thank you very much for the priceless presentation you presented to us, Dr. Edgar T. Tanate. Let's give another round of virtual applause. Yes. To move on, let's hear an inspiring and uplifting message from our dearest panelists for this online program. But before that, we would like to verify that all their speeches and messages does not necessarily reflect to whatever position they hold. However, is only based on their own opinion and experiences. So let's start. First, our first panelist, he is the Regional Director of National Service Training Program and Disaster Risk Reduction and Management of NCR. Let's all give a warm welcome to Dr. Giovanni L. Ahunin. Let's give a virtual round of applause.
Good afternoon. Hindi pa yan.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Edgar Tanate. Actually, I have two questions to Dr. Tanate to please give us inspirational messages. My question is, please give an example of good governance on how can we give good governance for our youth.
Dr. Giovanni L. Ahunin, our questions and answers po is for later. So for our questions, we can set it aside first. Yes, thank you so much.
So do I need to present now?
Yes po.
National Service Training Program, or NSTP, the National Service Reserve Corps. And we have the Disaster Risk Reduction Management Office of our school, the Iloyo Amang Rodriguez Institute of Science and Technology. The National Service Training Program, or the NSTP, is a mandatory subjects or tertiary education under Republic Act 101 or 9163. After finishing the NSTP, graduates of NSTP will be under the umbrella of the National Service Reserve Corps, or the NSRC. The NSRC can also be called PRM, or under Republic Act 101-21. For today's Araw ng Pambansang Bayani, we have our slogan, ingatan ang buhay para makahanap buhay. These are the slogan of the Frontliners for today. The coronavirus entered in our country December 2019, but it was neglected and not given attention by the DOH. January 2020, the Philippines was shocked on the eruption of the Taal volcano. At the same month, the death of one of the NBA players who died in plane crash. After 2 months, the virus spread all over the Philippines and declared by the DOH that the virus is now pandemic. Protocols were given emphasis on the entire Philippines for mitigation and prevention. Military, police, doctors, nurses, firemen, and the likes were used by the government to assist and support to this war. And they were called frontliners. Despite the hardship and health risks, many of essential frontlines workers continue to do their jobs during the pandemic. Frontliners not only belongs to non-government organization or the NGOs. The NSTP, NSRC, DRM of PRIS are frontliners. We are called the first responder. We are the sung or the unsung heroes. So what is frontliners? Frontliners is a term used to describe people who work on the front lines of a business operation, primarily in customer service areas or roles. They are everywhere. They can work face to face on phone or via or sorts of medium messenger or social media. Who are those frontliners? They are healthcare workers, social workers, grocery store workers, retail employees, retail restaurant staff, truck drivers and delivery services, firefighters, police officers and first responders, teachers, homekeeping staff, and utility workers. We have best practices in our school. We have the NSTP, NSRC, DRM. These are a group of students and faculty members who conducted on January 18 the eruption of the Taal volcano. We have noticed that January or December is the start of the pandemic. These students or volunteers belongs to different colleges and year level. These are the reliefs, the sacks of rice donated by our contact persons to be donated to Taal victims. And these are the bottled waters donated also by the NGOs for the Taal volcano victims. And on March 2020, we conducted our Operation Linis before the outreach of the pandemic. The Manila City Hall donated fire truck to our school. And we have very lucky that we have students from NSTP and SRC who are members of fire brigades in Manila. These are the activities. And on February 2020, IRIS frontliners conducted a relief operation in Tondo, Manila during the fire in Baseco, Tondo, Manila. So we donated relief goods for the victims of Baseco fire. These are also the activities. And as frontliners, This is the event or the accident happened January 2020, wherein one of our professor met an accident along Nagtahan Bridge. So the NSRC, NSTP student, volunteers, frontliners are the one who responded to give first aid to that faculty member. This is another incident happened along Nagtahan, dated July 20, 2020, wherein a motorcycle rider met an accident along Nagtahan Bridge. So our frontliners, the NSTP, NSRC student, conducted or helped the victim on that particular area. So for us as responder, as frontliners, there is no COVID when someone needs help. Now, how can we empower our frontliners? Number one, we have outlining. We must outline a clear vision for the entire organization. If you are the head of a certain organization, you must give vision. What is your vision? To serve and protect the continuity, the community, the community. Then frontliners must feel that they belong to your group. So do not neglect the activities, or please give consideration or appraisal to the activities of the frontliners. Then provide frontliners with technology to do their jobs. So we have modern technologies that can used by the frontliners in order for them to detect the easy victims of the pandemic. And for the frontliners, let us give recognition and feedbacks for all the activities of the frontliners. So a simple appraisal or praise for the frontliners gives moral support for them. Thank you for giving your strength to many. I'm thankful for your commitment to calling for our community. Your dedication and skills are making difference. We are here for you. Thanks for being there for us. We are so grateful for your support. We are very lucky to have you, and we know it. Thank you so much for what you're doing for the world. You are truly a hero. Thank you. Words are not enough to thank you for strength, courage, and dedication. So let us give due recognition for our frontliners. Our motto, I was born to serve and to save so that others may live. Thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you so much, our frontliners. Thank you very much, Dr. Giovanni L. Hahunin, for an amazing presentation. Truly, we need to value our frontliners for sacrificing for us. Our second panelist, he is the president of Sangguniang Kabataan, Panalawigang Federasyon of Lanao del Sur, and a former collegiate ambassador for peace of the World Collegiate Association for the Research of Principles. He is the one and only Honorable Jamil Faisal Saro Adyong. Let's welcome him with a virtual round of applause.
And Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuhu. Greetings of peace and may the blessings and mercy of the Almighty be with us all. Am I audible po ba sa ating mga listener, ating mga kasama? Am I audible?
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Ayan. Una po sa lahat, I'd like to greet everyone. Happy National Heroes Day, and at the same time, advance Happy Peace Month. Na tomorrow is our Peace Month. Um, I'd be speaking very shortly kasi I think that was also given to me. No? 7 minutes. Hopefully, makaya natin ito as a panel, as a panelist. Siguro what I would like to focus on is our role and the role also of the frontliners. Um, as to our theme, no, frontliners, makabagong bayani. It is indeed true na we pay tribute for this National Heroes Day. We pay our tribute to our all of our frontliners na for how many months already have been sacrificing a lot of things for us, no, especially sa ating na mga civilians in this country. um, while we are paying tributes to our makabagong bayani nga na sinasabi natin, ating mga frontliners, we also have a responsibility. And we, in our own capacity, in our very own homes, can also become heroes. Ito sana yung gusto kong maging reminders natin sa lahat ng ating mga kabataan na nakikinig ngayon, na nanonood ngayon sa ating Facebook Live and sa ating YouTube, no, na live din ngayon. Sa lahat po ng naabot ng ating coverage ngayon, we all have a role in nation building. We always say that. And it is also the same with we all have our role in becoming heroes in our own spaces. When we say becoming heroes in our own spaces, while it is true that we pay tribute to our frontliners, no, kailangan din nabigyan natin ng halaga yung lahat ng sakripisyo ng ating mga bayani. Hindi dahil meron tayong mga bayani, iwala na tayong gagawin. Hindi dahil nagpakamatay or hindi dahil marami tayong mga bayani noon na namatay dahil sa ating demokrasya, nang dahil sa ating pinaglalabang freedom, no, from all of our colonizers, doesn't mean we have nothing to do at all. Marami pa din tayong kailangan gawin. In the same way, hindi dahil meron tayong mga frontliners, ay iaasa na natin ang lahat sa ating mga frontliners. Bilang mga kabataan at bilang mga citizens sa ating mga komunidad, kailangan natin na magkaroon ng role. Ano nga ba yung role na ito? Unang-una siguro sa iniisip natin whenever we say what is our role bilang mga kabataan, we always are very overwhelmed by the fact na iniisip natin kailangan may gawin tayo sa labas. Kailangan lumabas tayo para tumulong, ganito, ganyan. Not understanding na at this point, during this pandemic, and I'd like to highlight this kasi nasa pandemic na tayo ngayon and increasing yung numbers natin for positive cases, isang paraan para makatulong is to stay at home. To stay at home and continue learning. To stay at home and stay productive. To stay at home and do something for your family at the same time. Hindi pwede na sinasabi natin, salamat sa mga frontliners, ganito, ganyan. Pero tayo mismo, for non-essential reasons, lumalabas-labas tayo. This discredits our tribute to our frontliners. Kumbaga, in the same way, for example, we talk so much about how important the role of Andres Bonifacio and Dr. Jose Rizal, among many others, in pushing for or fighting for our sovereignty. Hindi rin pwede na iaasa na lang natin, okay, tapos na yan, that's history, and then we're done. Wala tayong gagawin to protect democracy, to protect our sovereignty. Marami tayong pwedeng gawin. And in the same way, I'd like to go back here, no, sa ating frontliners. We pay so much tribute to our frontliners, but at the same time, tayo bilang mga kabataan, marami din tayong kailangan gawin in our very own homes. At this point, in the digital world, walang imposible, no? Sabi nga nila, walang imposible. Everything is in our fingertips. Well, of course, needless to say, marami din tayong mga kabataan at mga kababayan na hanggang ngayon may problema pa rin sa internet connection. And I agree with that, no? Sinasabi nga natin online classes is some kind of anti-poor, no? Kasi hindi nga ito accessible sa lahat. Hindi lahat ng ating mga kabataan ay may access sa edukasyon, may access sa technology or sa internet connection na dagdag pa sa kanilang gastusin. Pero tayo bilang privileged enough to have these tools na meron tayo ngayon sa atin po ng mga nanonood ngayon, mga kabataan na nanonood ngayon, bilang tayo na may internet connection, bilang tayo na may ganitong mga privileges, what is our role, no? We have been, I think si Sir kanina was talking about something about no, mga religious na mga reasons. Sa amin nga dalil tawag namin doon, may mga dalil pa siya, no? May mga religious facts na mention kanina. And I'd like to mention also na kumbaga in our case as I was saying earlier, privileged, no? Let us remember na while we have our personal reasons for acquiring whatever we have right now, all these things that we have acquired is useless if we don't share this to others. By saying sharing, hindi naman ibig sabihin na kung yung laptop mo ibibigay mo sa iba, no? Hindi naman ibig sabihin na ganun. One thing pinaka-common na pwedeng gawin is knowledge, no? Information. We need to alam mo yun, parang find ways to maximize whatever we have to share it to others. One Atenean value na naririnig ko lagi from Ateneo schools is being men and women for others. Yung sinasabi kanina na principle of sustainability, na we need to live for others. Kasi by living for others, nabibigyan natin ng halaga yung ating buhay. There is a reason. While we have our personal reasons for acquiring whatever we have, God has a reason also why He gave you that opportunity, why He gave you these privileges. So what I'm saying is, whatever we have to share this to others. And in the context of our frontliners, kung may kaya din tayong ibigay sa kanila, why not? 'Di ba? We can give it also to them. But at the same time, hindi ito matitigil lang doon. We need to discipline ourselves also. Kasi para saan din lang ang sakripisyo ng ating mga frontliners kung tayo mismo walang disiplina sa ating mga sarili. And let us remember na kapag wala tayong disiplina sa ating mga sarili, at this point in a pandemic where virus is very fast na nagsaspread, kapag wala tayong disiplina sa ating mga sarili, we're putting at risk yung ating mga kababayan din sa community. So how can we live for others if we have given risks for other people, no, because of our irresponsibility. So yun lamang po siguro. I'd like to end with that, and I'd like to highlight and recap what I mentioned. Let us not waste the sacrifices of our heroes. They have sacrificed a lot. Let us work on our responsibilities on how we can maximize their sacrifices at this point in pandemic. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah.
Thank you very much, Honorable Jamil Faisal Saro Adyong, for such an important reminders to all young people and young at heart. Let's all give a virtual applause. Let's move on to our third panelist. This wonderful person is an alumna pioneer, graduate of Universidad de Manila, a master's degree holder of educational management, and currently Universidad de Manila's Reserve Officer Training Corps coordinator. Let's all give a warm welcome to Professor Melfe G. Diola. Let's give a round of virtual applause.
Okay, so magandang hapon po sa bawat isa. So since that I'm designated as ROTC coordinator of Universidad de Manila, so first and foremost, magandang hapon sa bawat isa ulit. Okay, so since our team is all about the frontliners, ang makabagong bayani. So I agree. So sa lahat ng nagsabi, even our first panelist, the second, I strongly agree that they are the living hero in our society nowadays. So even ourselves, we consider also as frontliners. Okay, so in that case, during the ROTC days, I just want to share this with you. So we are molding those young individual to be a what? a hero. Because we all know naman, when we say heroes, yun yung sinasabi nila na, oh, they're already dead, and after that, we're going to recognize them. But at this point in time, the living heroes we consider, lahat na po that they are brave heart, they are they are risk taker, they are considering that they are sacrificing everything for the sake of others. Yes, you have to give for others in order for you to save them. So in ROTC, so they're going to be joined to the reserve force. So they are maintaining also the discipline. So meaning to say, so they are already inculcate in their heart and mind that you are to serve the nation and serving the land. Okay, so securing the people. So as time goes by, some of them, mapupunta na sila sa regular force. And after that, yung iba naman sa reserve force. But I know, and as a reservist, of course, so am I doing also my contribution and it starting with myself and as well as in the who in the inside the community and how you are going to serve also. Kasi nga, 'di ba? So we're going to mold them. We teach everything how you are going to be patriotic also, and you have to concern with the other people. So in that case, those frontliners, so I do really appreciate what they are doing. Kasi if you're looking unto them, that they are sacrificing the nurses, doctors, soldiers, security guard, staff, restaurants, staff, so a lot of people. So I also agree those sa panel number 2 that you have to share or impart a bit to share your knowledge or experience and to help them just to stay at home and being a productive as well. So and that's why in the academic situation nowadays, we are promoting the flexible learning because it's not an hindrance even that we are in the midst and amidst of pandemic nowadays, but still we can continue learning as well because there's a lot of resources and there's a lot of way because we instilled also to the young ones how they are going to survive in this pandemic in time because we have a lot of way. So no need to stay in one corner and then they said, okay, how am I going to contribute in our country? So in a little thing, and that's why we are the agent, of course, since that we are the privileged, or we can say that. So we are the agent to change their minds towards good life because we are the molding and we are the facilitator to guide them what they are going in this time of pandemic. So I know a lot of in the social medias arises issues, arise especially today. Salute sa ating mga frontliners. We are giving them talagang tributes, talagang nagpapasalamat tayo. But we know the word salamat is not enough. Kaya nga, we're here also and we have to help them and to guide them, the young ones, because there are times na talagang medyo lumalabas na rin sila sa boundary. And the nature and nurture also of the individual. Kaya nga, as I observe, because in our institution, we required also na magre-report skeletal force. But still, we enforce the proper IATF protocols na you have to wear a face mask, face shields, and wash your hands, alcohol. So it's proper hygiene also. And as much as possible, avoid crowded places. So if it's not necessary, no need to go outside naman. So I know a lot of the social medias, advertisements, something like that, the government, the organizations, hindi naman nagkulang just to give us more information para lang din maabot yung dapat na ipaabot sa mga kababayan natin, especially here in our country. Okay, so I do really privilege and honor na nandito ako ngayon just to give a bit information to impart my knowledge because we know naman na we are the agent. Yun lang ang masasabi ko, we are the agent to guide them and to help them towards good life. So thank you very much, each one of you here and also all the participants, the president and the organization, the head of this organization also, thank you for inviting me just to share my experience and knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you very much for such a wonderful message, Professor Melfred G. Diola. Yes, I agree, and I believe we all agree to our frontliners. Let's all give a virtual applause. And last but not the least, he is a molecular biologist and a climate reality leader. And let's all warmly welcome this amazing person with a round of virtual applause, Mr. John Leonard Chan.
Hi, hello. Thank you for inviting me, YSP Philippines, and happy National Heroes Day. I hope you are still happy despite of the pandemic, and still we are suffering a this kind of war, and the numbers are getting higher. So, by the way, I am John Leonard Chan. I am currently working as molecular biologist at RITM. By the way, disclaimer, my views and opinions do not necessarily reflect the position of RITM. So, as of now, healthcare workers are said to be the new heroes of the nation. But those heroes also need helps like support of the government and the society. So supports like good and reasonable compensation and protection for our healthcare worker. So actually, this short message, I
Pagkatapos
just
ko ng Zoom, kunin ko na yung cellphone.
sino po yun? Sorry.
Please unmute your microphone.
Sorry. Quite distracted. Sorry. So the actually this short message, I just received an invitation last night in the middle of my duties. So in RITM. So this is quite small and very broad. So I hope you understand what I am saying. So the society also has big participation in this war. For example, kahit yung maliliit na pagsunod sa health protocol ay napakalaking halaga na rin sa pagsugpo ng gantong pandemya. We just also give help din sa mga ating mga healthcare worker. So if you can see, parang anong role ko talaga as a healthcare worker. I am not a nurse, I am not a medtech, even a doctor, I am not a doctor. But as a molecular biologist and a microbiologist, so we also participate on testing, research and development, and also for studying the effect of this pandemic. So nowadays, youths are more aware of the social issues and participating in giving a solution. And knowing that working in this kind of job, I still encourage the youth to become one of us, despite of the problem that we encountered. So, mababang pasahod, less job opportunities. Pero I really want to encourage the youth to become part of this kind of job kasi dahil napakakonti namin at kailangan ng maraming tulad namin para hindi na maulit ang mga ganitong klaseng pandemya at maging aware na ang buong tao, ang mga tayo sa mga susunod na hamon na ating encountered na gantong klaseng hamon, like for example, a biological war. So as a molecular biologist and also a microbiologist, I would like to share the role that we participate in the society. So despite in the Philippines, we have fewer job opportunities. I hope after this pandemic, Senate Bill 1630, or also known as Philippine Microbiology Act of 2017, will be passed to be able for us to be recognized and regulated. Kasi nga, dahil nga kukonti lang kami at hindi gaanong nabibigyan ng oportunidad ang aming sektor, sana pagkatapos ng pandemya, mabigyang halaga kaming mga microbiologists at may pasa na itong klaseng Senate bill para makatulong din kami sa susunod na mga problema. I think short lang yung message ko, and I hope I give pathways dun sa activities na meron tayo ngayon. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chan. And all the amazing panelists who had shared their appreciation, insights, and experiences in our celebration of the National Heroes Day today. For sure, all our viewers, especially our young people, who is also our future heroes, gained a lot of energy and inspiration that will drive them to do the same. Once again, let's all give a virtual heart react and applause to our speakers and panelists. And I also remember one quote about all the panelists and speakers that speak today. I think a hero is any person really intent on making this a better place for all people. And a hero is someone who has given his or her life to something bigger than oneself. And the best example for those kind of people are our frontliners right now who is sacrificing themselves to save us for the sake of ourselves, for the sake of each and one of us. That's why they are the people who really practicing living for the sake of others. So now let's move on to the questions and answer portion. If anyone has any questions, I'm sure one of the speakers and panelists will be pleased to answer them. Please type or comment down your questions on the YouTube chat group or Facebook Live. Thank you so much. So anyone, this is your time to ask questions. The question before po, you can actually ask it right now.
Okay, so question. Okay, yung question po kanina ni Sir Giovanni Ahonin po para dun sa how you are, yung question niya, di ba, supposedly na sinabi mo nga, Mr. Moderator, na we're going to answer that question right after nung mga presentation ng panelists, pati yung ating presenter. So may question po kanina si Sir Ahonin, and then ang tinanong niya is si Sir, ano po, yung first ano natin, speaker, yung how you are going to give a good governance dun sa mga young ones. Diba, Sir Ahonin, question niyo po yung kanina. Okay, yun lang naman just to give, would you enlighten us po? Yung gustong sumagot po kasi ng question, parang si Sir Edgar. Ayan, yan, Sir Edgar.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, so the question is like, how can we give what good governance to the young people of today? Yeah, so for me, because I was definitely once a young person before, and I think up until now, in heart and in mind, still young, uh, in heart and mind. So anyway, paano natin mag-guide properly itong mga young people? You know, for me, the best way is to first, how do you say, give them the right ideology, no, right philosophy. Kailangan kasi tayo, lahat ng ginagawa natin sa buhay nakabase sa ating paniniwala, no? So kung mali yung paniniwala mo, sigurado yun 100% mali din yung gagawin mo. Mali din yung buhay mo, ang direksyon ng buhay mo. No, katulad ng napakadaming mga nangyayari ngayon sa ating kapaligiran na kung saan isa na itong tinuturo ng mga communist kasi noon ano ako nasa school din kasi ako dati nag-aaral and then nag-join din ako sa mga rally na yan, no? So nakita ko ang epekto noon at ang direkta na epekto sa akin bilang young person na napaka-idealistic, no? Gusto kong baguhin yung bansa natin. Gusto kong magkaroon ng fairness at justice, no? At saka dapat ang mga mahihirap ay maiahon sa kahirapan. Ano ideals yan ng mga young people eh. Gusto natin na ang ating bansa maging maunlad. Ang ating pamilya ay may sapat na kakainin, natitirhan, sapat na kakayanan para ipadala sa eskwelahan, no? Ang ating mga anak, no? So, bakit na ganyan na mahirap yung bansa natin? So, gusto ko talaga magbago din yung bansa natin. Pero nakita ko, no, ibang pamamaraan para magawa yun eh. Tapos, ang isa sa pinaka-importanting natutunan ko, yung talagang dapat may tama kang philosophy sa buhay. May tama kang paniniwala. So, dapat ituruan natin yung ating kabataan ng tamang philosophy. Ang tanong, saan ka hahanap ng ganong klaseng philosophy? Isa ngayon ang nagbibigay lang naman ng philosophy kung paano baguhin yung bansa natin para maging maunlad yung bansa natin. Ang nagbibigay lang ng ganyang philosophy ang available lang na philosophy o turo yung turo ng mga communist. So paano? Paano yan pag walang alternative yung kabataan, no? So kailangan talaga natin ng magkaroon ng right philosophy and paniniwala or belief system muna, no? And that belief system should be centered on God, no? At kahit na centered on God siya, hindi siya dapat nakatutok sa isang reliyon lang. Dapat kaya nung i-embrace ng teaching na yun yung lahat ng religion. Kasi i-embrace yung lahat ng bansa sa mundo. Embrace ang lahat ng klaseng philosophy. Tsaka dapat pwede siya sa mga kabataan, pwede siya sa mga professionals, pwede siya sa mga scientists, pwede siya sa mga lahat ng klase ng lahat ng klase ng sectors ng society, applicable siya. And it should be applicable in the past, in the present, and in the future. Tapos kaya nitong pagkaisahin ang lahat ng turo ng mga religion na sa Quran, sa Bible, sa Dharma ng Buddhist, no? Sa mga holy scriptures ng iba't ibang religion, kayang pagkaisahin lahat ng religion para lahat ng tao ay maging magkaisa at hindi mag-away-away. Kailangan natin na ganung klaseng philosophy, no? Pagka yon ang ituro natin sa kabataan, no? Susunod na lang lahat Susunod, tapos may training sila kung paano isabuhay yung teaching na yon, ay talaga, no? Ang mundo natin magbabago. Ang country talaga natin kayang baguhin. So that's what I can say, Dr. Giovanni, ang ating NSTP coordinator for NCR. So I hope, no? I want to tell you that this organization, YSP, has that kind of philosophy. So sana maituro ito sa lahat ng kabataan sa Pilipinas at sa buong mundo.
Thank you so much, sir.
Hello. Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Edgar Tanate, for answering the question. Okay, next we have question for our speakers. Which is the best, being a hero or being a patriot?
So, sinong
to our speakers po.
Any of the
Yes po.
Any among panelists, right?
Yes.
So, anyway, maybe I can say something first. And yung pagkakaalam ko yung hero tsaka patriot, parang pareho lang yata yon. That is a person who sacrificed himself for the sake of the nation, a person who sacrificed himself for the people of their nation, of their country. So patriot, parang pareho lang ibig sabihin nun sa hero Pero siguro dagdagan natin yun, like mas maganda for me mas maganda pag buhay ka na hero 'Di ba merong ganun, yung buhay na hero? Kasi yung patay na hero model natin sila, no? Pero tingin ko pag mas mahaba pa yung kanilang buhay at dahil buhay nga sila, naging maganda silang modelo ng mga tao, mas maraming tao maimpluwensyahan kasi nga andyan sila buhay, no? Tapos living example na kayang gayahin, pwedeng gayahin ng mga tao. So that's my prayer and my hope that members of YSP, no, can really be that model for the nation, and they can be the living heroes, no, para sa ating bansa at para sa buong mundo.
Can I go after?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much. Ako personally, between being a hero and a patriot, as mentioned by Sir kanina, wala naman ito masyadong pinagkaiba. Except for, siguro if we try to technically look into the definition, kapag kasi patriot ka, regardless if you are being recognized as someone who loves the country, talagang ikaw mismo, alam mo sa sarili mo na mahal mo ang bayan mo, mahal mo ang bansa mo, no? You love your country with all your interest and devotion, and that is unconditional. However, being a hero, ito ay nanggagaling sa iba, no? Ibig sabihin, you are being referred to as a hero. Hindi mo kine-claim na ikaw ay hero, pero para sa iba, ikaw ay nagiging hero based on your actions. Personally, I would recommend to our young people na to become patriots, no? Kung kasi kapag iniisip natin dapat ako yung hero, it's as if parang iniisip natin yung nagiging intention natin is dapat ma-recognize ako, ganito, ganyan, no? Our pure intention must always be checked from time to time. Bilang mga kabataan, bilang mga youth leaders, we need to always remind ourselves. Ako, lagi ko din tong sinasabi sa sarili ko, even before when I was still in college, no? When I was still a student leader, I always tell myself, and this is a note to myself also, no, and for all of our young people na nakikinig, whenever we do something, we're doing these things not because may certificate ako makukuha or dagdag to sa credentials ko or ganito ganyan, no. It's not about the recognition, but it's about your pure intention of why you did this in the first place. So my recommendation is to be as much as possible to be a patriot, no. Let us love our country unconditionally, and by loving our country unconditionally, we also open our minds to the different realities that we have in the country. And noting that yung pagiging hero, that is secondary, no. Kumbaga, if we are being recognized as a hero, then good. All praises be to God, no. Thank you po sa recognition. Pero our drive must always be our passion and our love for the country. Kumbaga, whether yung sinasabi nga nila na pagmamahal na walang hinihinging kapalit, sabi nga nila, no? So that is my strongest recommendation, no, sa ating mga kabataan na nakikinig ngayon. Let us love our country beyond any interests, no, unconditionally. Let us be patriot. Sabi nga ni Captain America, no, siya din ay isang patriot. Sabi nga niya, hindi siya hero, siya ay patriot. Kasi nga, it is our desire and our love for the country that is above anything else. Recognitions, they go secondary. Thank you very much po.
Can I add?
Yes? Yes po.
A good example of patriot hero is the Benigno Ninoy Aquino. Benigno Ninoy Aquino is our former senator who was shot in tarmac August 21, wherein alam niya naman na pagbaba niya sa aeroplano, he's aware na pagbaba niya sa aeroplano ay he will be assassinated by the previous administration. So hindi niya pinansin yung babala na yon. Tumuloy pa rin siya sa pag-uwi sa Pilipinas. Kaya nung paglapag niya sa tarmac, doon siya binaril. So, naging hero siya dahil nung mga panahon na yon na kung saan nababalot ng hindi maganda ang ating bansa, ito ang siyang naging dahilan para magising ang sabayan ng Pilipino para mag-alsa at baguhin ang takbo ng politika ng ating bansa. So for me, patriotic hero is Ninoy Aquino or Senator Benigno Aquino Jr. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Giovanni, for answering the question. Okay, we have last question for Sir Giovanni. Paano maging volunteer without risking my health as a youth, especially this pandemic? Our question for Sir Giovanni.
Paano maging volunteer na hindi magiging risk ang iyong sarili? Okay. Ang volunteer, I have a lot marami akong volunteer sa school. They are conducting services without giving anything in return. Okay? So, sa volunteer, sa response, kasama yung tinatawag na risk. Hindi pwedeng mawala yan. Makaduktong yan eh. Na once na tumulong ka, once na nagbigay ka ng serbisyo, sa isang aksidente, there are times na malalagay din sa panganib ang buhay mo. So, paano maiwasan yon? Proper training. Proper training na ibinibigay namin sa aming mga kabataan na once you are equipped with trainings, with equipments, with complete PPE, palagay ko naman hindi lalagay sa risk ang sarili mo. Yun lang.
Yes, thank you so much, Sir Giovanni, for answering the questions. Actually, all panelists can also answer this question if you can answer. If you want to answer the question.
Okay, can I have some?
Sorry.
Okay, so I think at this point in time, regarding dun sa tinasabi na natin na in the digital world, kasi nga 'di ba, she's just asking na ayaw niyang ma-risk yung kanyang health. So example na lang, because you don't want to go there in that certain place, baka mamaya mag-iisip ka na mahawaan ka kung carrier ba sila ng virus na yan. So example ako, I know I have a knowledge regarding sa basic life support, something like that. So maybe I can create a page or something like that. And then magbibigay ako ng mga online demo. Now you can get it naman from the YouTube, and then you can share without using, pwede ka mag-vlog, at least you are inside your house, something like that. So is that only, I think, my suggestion para hindi magiging risky din yon. Kasi di nga, di ba, especially this time na ayaw mong lumabas because we want to help also our frontliners. So I think it's just only my suggestion na stay at home and then do something na you're gonna be being productive and to help somebody else also na doing that kind of blog or create a page using social media platforms. Okay, so thank you.
Can I add?
Yes, thank you so much. Oh, wait, someone wants to add?
Okay. Thank you very much. I think the most practical thing that we can actually do as young people, and not only for young people, even for the parents who are out there and everyone else who are listening, one basic thing that we can actually do is to actually yung pagkakamusta, no? Kamustahin natin yung ating mga kaibigang frontliners, kamustahin natin yung ating mga kamag-anak na frontliners, kamustahin natin yung ating mga kasama, mga kaibigan, regardless if they're frontliners or not. Kasi one of the major issues that we're facing right now during this pandemic is mental health issues. Because, yun nga, sinasabi natin, naka-quarantine halos lahat. People are locked down in their homes, especially the young ones. Napakaraming issues on anxiety. Nagkakaroon tayo ng maraming issues on depression. And itong mga ganitong mga bagay, hindi natin to pwedeng baliwalain, no? Kasi bilang mga God-fearing people, importante na maisip din natin na by helping our or by being God-loving citizens, no, kailangan maisip natin na by being, yung sinasabi natin kanina, being men and women for others, dapat hindi tayo ma-overwhelm sa idea na dapat nasa labas tayo lagi. The very fact na you're communicating with someone can really help a lot. Talk to someone. Pag may nakikita kayong kaibigan niyo sa Facebook ninyo na tingin niyo very medyo depressed yung kanyang mga post or sa kanyang mga tweets, talk to them, no? Importante yung talking. And again, talk is cheap. Napakadaling gawin ito. And alam niyo yun, one thing that I've personally learned over the past years is we learn so much from simple conversations. It broadens our minds na minsan iniisip natin na yung maliit na problema para sa atin ay malaki na pala sa iba, no? Let us understand. Siguro basic pwedeng gawin is look online, psychosocial support, or paano ba magkamusta ng mga kaibigan, and then do it, no, with your friends. Kung wala kang internet, text them, no. Kung wala man, at least in your very own homes. Minsan ito very common to sa ating mga tahanan mismo, sa ating mga sa ating mga kamag-anak, mga kapatid, kuya, ate, or bunso, no, or mga pinsan. Kasi extended family marami sa atin, no. Very common na nasa iisang bahay pero hindi masyadong nagsasalita. You're in your home, pero yung feeling na wala kang makausap kasi feeling mo they will judge you, ganito, ganyan. Let us make a space or safe space for our family members, no? Para sila ay mag-share ng kanilang mga problema, no? Remember that yung sinasabi nga ng iba, usually nakikita nating laging masaya, sila pa usually nakikita nating nagsusuicide. And we don't want that in our family members, in our friends. Remember, talk is cheap. Communicate with your friends. Basic na pwede nating gawin during this pandemic as a support to our community is kamusta. No? Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much, our panelists, for answering the questions. I totally agree with that one. But all right, I'm sure that we are all still had questions running in our minds. However, we're running out of time. So before we end this program, may I call on our regional president for the International Association of Youth and Student for Peace Asia Pacific. Let's all welcome our very dynamic, young, and energetic, our one and only Professor Richel Halipa. Let's all give him a virtual round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Hanjin. Gimay, I really appreciate your being moderator for today's very important virtual gathering, the Leaders Connect webinar series hosted by the Youth and Students for Peace with the theme Frontliners, Makabagong, Bayani in celebration of National Heroes Day. And first, I want to greet everyone. Magandang hapon po. Actually, it's already evening. Good evening. Magandang gabi. Assalamualaikum. Naimbag Sardam. Maayong gabi sa inyong tanan. It is really my pleasure to become part of this program in celebration of our national heroes. However, we are now in a juncture of actually human history. We are facing this unprecedented, pandemic. Actually, this is quite challenging. Of course, masasabi natin na these are all extraordinary times. These are not ordinary times. These are extraordinary times, and it requires extraordinary people, extraordinary leadership, extraordinary conviction, and extraordinary determination. And actually, we need extraordinary, solution. And siguro if we look back at during the times of wars, yung kung saan when our forefathers were still fighting for the country, for the independence of our country, that's why they were called heroes. Actually, for example, our national hero, Dr. Roy Rizal, he was at that point of decision making in his life, whether to just enjoy his life, as a medical doctor, just kind of enjoy the opportunities he had, traveling around the world, or give up his convenience, give up his comfortable situation, and sacrifice for the nation. So that's why I would like to call on the young people, sa lahat ng mga kabataan po, sa buong bansa and wherever you are, to all the Filipinos around the world and to other nationalities, I would like to call you to please rise up. Please let us take responsibility. Let us take initiative. Let us serve, and let us really be empathetic, about the situation of others. So more than ourselves, let us really live for the greater good. Of course, marami tayong worries, marami tayong, insecurities, but more than that, let us try to open our hearts and open our hands and try to look beyond ourselves, na maybe we are much more fortunate than other people, and we can actually help even in small ways other people. Our speakers and our panelists, they have really presented well, and so one more time I would like to encourage everyone, please join us, or you can join your local organization, or you can join your school in order to overcome this crisis. Actually, the only way for us to overcome this crisis is to fight back. Kumbaga, parang ginawa ng mga bayani natin noon, our heroes, they fought back. They were not cowered by the threat, by the situation, but instead they fought back in order to provide a better future, and not only for themselves, but for the generations to come. So one more time, I really appreciate sa ating mga speakers and panelists, and I want to appreciate also yung mga ating viewers. Of course, I know many of you are also busy, but despite your busy schedule, you took your time to participate here. Actually, that's already a big achievement, and I want to commend you. Thank you for participating and watching us live in Facebook, in YouTube. And so I would like to end this by appreciating our speakers. Okay, I would like to especially thank Dr. Edgar Tanate and Honorable Ronald Cardema, Mr. Froilan Matbagan, also Dr. Giovanni Aluhin, and Honorable Jamil Faisal Saro Adyong, and Professor Melfe Jola, and Mr. John Leonard Chan. And of course, we want to also appreciate our sponsor, the President of YSP Pilipinas, Mr. Rene Lansangan, and the Chairman, Mr. Leo Angelo Halog. And of course, yes, I would like to thank our dynamic organizers, Miss Ella, Miss Nikki, Mr. Ravi, and Mr. Jude, and of course, yes, Miss Railin, and of course, sa ating mga support staff, I really want to thank you, the officers and YSP officers and other organizations who really partnered with us in order to make this celebration a meaningful and also a successful one. So one more time, thank you very much to all our speakers, panelists, and staff, and also our viewers. Thank you very much. Magandang gabi po.
Yes, thank you so much, Professor Richelle Halipa, for concluding our webinar series. Because we are in an extraordinary times, we need to be extraordinary with an extraordinary solution, especially for the young people. For young people is the hope of the future. With that, we need this one. Before we end this wondrous event, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to thank you for your participation in this Leaders Connect webinar series. We would also like to thank our speakers, presenters, panelists, staffs, and the host organizations for this online program, the Youth and Student for Peace Filipinas, and the World Collegiate Association for the research of principles, along with all youth affiliate organizations who's been there always in every online program we do. Special thanks to HJYLT International, National Leadership Training Program, International Peace Leadership College, Sunwa International Academy, World Tongilmodo Federation, and to all social media platforms who have shared this event, especially to all YSP national chapters around Asia Pacific. Thank you very much. All right, as we conclude this program, let us be inspired and find hope with a song to be rendered to us by Miss Pauline Martinez, the President of World Carp TUP Taguig Chapter entitled My Pag-asa. Let us all enjoy and feel the song. Once again, Miss Pauline Martinez.
Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Pauline Martinez mula sa W Corp NCR. Ang aawitin ko po ay para sa ating mga frontliners. Dahil po sa inyo ay mayroong pag-asa na malagpasan natin ang krisis na kinakaharap natin ngayon. Inihahandog ko po ito bilang pasasalamat sa inyong walang sawang sakripisyo, pagmamalasakit at pagmamahal. Nangarap noong bayani hindi pa papigil lakas ng loob sa bawat hakbang, bawat desisyon. Nakita ang kapit sa Panginoon. Sana'y malaman, nakikita ko mga pawis at luha na inalay mo, at sa iyong paghihirap, dumaloy sa'yo ang pag-asa. Salamat ng dahil sa'yo. Kahit saan at kahit kailan, hindi napipilit, ika'y lumaban. Lahat ng bagyo ay matatapos, lumapit ka lamang, huwag kang susuko. Sana'y malaman, nakikita ko mga pawis at luha na inalay mo, at sa iyong paghihirap, dumaloy sa'yo ang pag-asa. Salamat dahil sa'yo. May pag-asa. Salamat dahil sa'yo. May pag-asa. Salamat dahil at balang araw, ako'y lilingon ng mga alaalang niligtas mo ako. Hindi ka sumuko, patuloy ka lang na lumaban. Saludo kami sa'yo. Maraming salamat sa'yo.
Yes, thank you so much for such a heartwarming song, Miss Pauline Martinez. To all the panelists, speakers, and to our presenters, because we are all in speaker view, let's wave goodbye to conclude our event for today. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you so much for participating in this event. Thank you so much to our speakers, to our panelists, to everyone. Really, thank you so much.
At walang taglan. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
po.
Thank you very much po.
Thank you so
very
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.
Hope to see
Thank
you
you so
again
much.
soon.
Yes po. Thank you, Sir Jamil. I remember you from Pisnata. Yeah, I remember.
Thank you very much po.
Sabi ko somehow familiar po yung face.
Somewhere in Bohol, tama po.
Thank you po. Yes, in Bohol. I remember.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. You can na po din.
Salamat, Sir Ramoni. Sir Bola,
Everyone.
Thank you. Thank you,
Sir
Hanji.
Edgar Tanate, thank you.
Sir Edgar,
Anjin,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sir Melvin,
Thank you,
thank you.
Jamil.
Thank you so much.
Sir Ahon sa pag...
Sir Edgar, thank you so much.
Ahon.
Okay.
Estela, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ate,
Thank you, Sir
thank you so
Froilan.
much.
Let's eat our
Thank you.
dinner po.
Thank you, Rich.
Happy